Hey guys, welcome back to Building Your Own Cyber Lab at Home with Kyle Slawzik. And next here we're going to talk about VMware Workstation. VMware Workstation is a great application, probably one of the best out there for Windows applications. So if you've got a Windows machine that you want to use as your host operating system, VMware Workstation is the best. And again, it's a little pricey. You're probably looking at about $150 to $200 for the license, but um, well worth every cent spent on it. So yeah, let's hop into the program.
All right, so this is the VMware Workstation interface on Windows, and you can see it looks a little bit different than the VMware Fusion interface on Mac, but it has the same basic features. When you open it up, the one thing I do like about VMware Workstation is it comes with these tabs, and you can see, just like in the last lecture, I've already created our Ubuntu VM so that I can show you some of the features. We'll go through creating the VM in this application here in a minute, but I just wanted to show you that you can have multiple VMs open in these tabs and run it that way. So you have the option here to open a virtual machine if you've already got one pre-made, create a new virtual machine, and just like in VMware Fusion, you can virtualize a physical machine. Now what I want to show you here is connect to a remote server. Now this is important. This is a feature that is not present in VMware Fusion. If you were to have a vSphere or a VMware ESXi, which are kind of like the VMware hardcore server applications, you could use the workstation to actually connect into those servers and manage them, run your VMs, interact with them through this application. They do provide a free application to do that, but if you have both, it might be easier to actually use VMware Workstation as your connection point to a vSphere or an ESXi client. So let's, just like our last lecture, let's talk about creating a new virtual machine. So we'll do that, and then it comes up with this nice wizard, and we'll actually go through the typical wizard here, and you can use the installer disk drive, or just like in our last one, I'm going to use an image, and you can see I've got Ubuntu desktop here, so I'm going to open up that one. And you can see Ubuntu 14.04 is detected. We'll use easy install, just like in VMware Fusion. So we'll put in my information. So all right, and we'll hit next, and we'll call it Ubuntu. We'll hit next, and now you can set up the disk size here. So it recommends a 20 gig disk size. If you want that bigger, you can change it smaller here. Now these two options are present in VMware Fusion, but not necessarily used, or not used in the wizard. But you have the ability to store the virtual disk as one single file, or split it into multiple files. Now, by default, it says to split into multiple files, and the reason for this is that it helps with, especially if you have it like, say, a 20 gig hard drive and you use all 20 gigs of that hard drive space, your virtual hard drive is going to be a 20 gig file. Now, some operating systems and Windows can kind of choke on files that big. So if you split the virtual disk into multiple smaller files, it makes it a little easier for Windows to manage it. However, if you have an extremely large disk, say you have a 100 gig disk, splitting the disk into multiple files may actually reduce performance within the VM. So it's kind of something that you have to think about. If you go in with 20 gig, splitting the virtual disk into multiple files is just fine. And then these are just the basics, right? It recommended 1 gig of memory. The network adapter is NAT. We can hit here and customize the hardware, and we'll go through this here in a minute. But for that, we will finish, and you can see that it will start up here in a second. And just like in our last one, see it started up. I'm actually going to go ahead and stop it because we already have a Ubuntu um, VM built for time's sake. So let's take a look at this VM. You have a couple of options here. You can. All right, this is where you manage the VM, right? So you can turn it off, suspend it here. You can set up your removable devices, but we're actually going to go to settings here, and you can see everything, right? You see your memory here, number of processors, the hard drive, and just like in the past VM, you have 2 CD drives. You can change NAT. You can change your network adapter from NAT to host only, and to custom if you want a specific virtualized network. We'll keep it at NAT. You can also do bridge connection. The USB controller, same thing. If you plug something in, do you want it to plug into Windows? You want to plug it into the VM, the sound card, and the display. And the same thing with printers here. You can set up shared folders here. So you can, and this is interesting. I really do like the desktop version because you can do this, right. Enable until next power off or suspend, and you can add a folder to share between the host operating system and the guest operating system. You can set up snapshots. Your auto protect is automatic snapshots if you want to run this often. You can disable guest isolation and disable drag and drop and copy and paste. And yeah, I mean that's pretty. The VNC connections. So if you have a VNC client, you can enable VNC to allow yourself to remotely connect to this VM if necessary. But lots of really cool stuff here in VMware Workstation. And then the last thing is your views, right? You can, right now I've got my library on the left and my main image in the right here, and then I can go full screen if I'd like. You can see it comes up here, or I can go out of full screen and put some information down here, some utilization information and whatnot. So that is VMware Workstation for Windows. We're going to talk about some more of the free options here in future lectures. So we'll see you in the next lecture.